Hey everyone, my name is Mike Vaughn, and welcome to Hot Takes, a show where we dish out some really scorching hot takes, and nothing is sacred. But I am not here by myself. I have a really cool panel of guests. We got Carlos Diaz. He's such a cool guy, horror expert. I couldn't think of anybody better to have. Um, Gary Hill, so glad to have you here, and Michael Keene, big fan, and I love your YouTube channel. So it's really cool to have you back on. I know we talked about Scream last time, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, we're gonna get into some hot takes here, and the first subject is going to be underrated horror movies. So I'll probably kick this off, and then we can just go down the line and see what y'all's hot takes are. So as far as like underrated horror movies go, Urban Legends is an absolute fucking banger of a film, and I think it is unfairly sort of maligned. What do y'all kind of think about that?
It does seem to be put into that kind of post-Scream environment where it looks like it was just a copycat film. But what I liked about it is that it actually took a good subject matter, which was urban legends, and it went to town with it. It has really good kills, good cast, and that's what was great about movies from the late '90s is because you were still in that kind of phase of we haven't yet figured out what we want to do. And Urban Legends was one of those movies that captured the spirit of, hey, you know what? I may be late to the game, but hey, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it has such a great foundation to build off of. Like I said, maybe Urban Legends, maybe that's a little like hokey pokey, but I still feel like that's a kind of a fun like springboard. And I often think like a creepy pastas kind of thing, like in that similar vein, would be really awesome. So Gary and Michael, what do y'all think of that movie? Are you
Um, Urban Legend. I don't remember enough about that movie to actually. I remember it being fine. I remember it being fine. So yeah, sure, sure, yeah. That's fucking needs a fucking Shout Factory re-release with the fucking 4K. That's there's something.
Absolutely. I got to meet Tara Reid too. She was cool as fuck. She was really nice. And like I talk about like people like I know a little bit before we were recording. Carlos does a lot of conventions, and we were talking about like celebrities meeting celebrities and stuff. Gary, I know you have like some autographs back there, so you're like into that too. Michael, do you do conventions and stuff? I don't recall. Like, is that your
I work conventions.
okay?
Sometimes I don't really go unless like there's a friend inviting me to something. Like
Okay.
there's a hentai convention coming up, and a friend of mine, she like
Oh,
really loves that convention. And it's in Vegas. I can't say no. I'd make me an asshole. So,
yeah. I mean, yeah, that sounds amazing. Actually, I'm actually pretty jealous, even though that's not my thing. But yeah, Gary, what do you think? What have you seen that one? Are you a fan or? I think you're muted.
I am muted. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
Um,
okay.
God damn
Urban,
it, Gary.
damn it. Yeah,
Always Gary.
Urban Legend is fine. It's one of the better of the Scream clones, I'd say, because
Yeah.
they made a lot of them, and that's one of my biggest problems with Scream. Is not Scream itself; it's the wake of crap that came after it.
Hmm.
With good stuff mixed in. Yeah, but it's I gotta rewatch Valentine. Put it that
Valentine.
way, just to see if
Hmm.
I like it or not. I couldn't tell you, but if Urban Legend was made in the 80s, I think I would have more fun with it as far as like they would
Yeah.
go for more stuff. Like you see like the Gutbuster scene in Slaughter High, they might actually go for something
Yeah.
like that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, Pop Rocks and Pepsi, and his guts may actually explode. I'm silly like that though. So
Oh
It
yeah.
no,
certainly
but
would
it's
have,
it's
yeah, it
hmm?
certainly would have been a better movie or more memorable movie had it been released in the '80s with that kind of '80s slasheries thing. But the '90s did have its advantages. Danielle
Oh yeah.
Harris, the internet, which gave more people, because otherwise you would just get these the urban legends being just like, oh, I heard a story from this and this, and you don't have the ability to look it up, like you could now.
Yeah,
Oh,
still very
I would
fun though. I do enjoy it though, and the people that show up in it are like, it's like the '90s threw up and just
Yes.
said, "Hey, here you go,"
I would say,
Like an,
speaking of Valentine, that I would say that if you took urban legend and you added a Valentine flavor to it, that kind of weird ham-fisted American Giallo thing that they tried to do, and how it kind of tries to outdo itself near the end on a narrative level. I think that's really fun, and I think you marry those two. It's 90s goodness in its purest form. But yeah, it's fine.
nice. So, all right. So I'll kick it off to you, Michael. What is your scorching hot take on underrated, underloved horror movies?
Well, I've made this one known before, and I think it's starting to become mainstream, so it's not really that much of a hot take, I suppose. But I would say Halloween 2 is the best Halloween sequel. Not the 1980s Halloween 2, you fucking plebes. But the Rob Zombie directed Halloween
Yes.
2.
Yes.
Easily the best direct sequel in the entire franchise. I would say the best sequel, period. I give 3 a lot of credence, but I thought about it the other day and I was like, I love Halloween 3, but it's really more of a wow, that was fucked up. And I was really young kind of way. And it's
Nice.
still beautiful. Dean Cundy fucking just does it so good, man. Just makes
Yeah.
face the whole time looking at those things. But Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, audacious as shit, shot on 16 millimeter for no good financial reason, just because Rob Zombie thought it would be fucking rad, and he much preferred the format to the fucking 35 anamorphic from the previous film, which is fucking baller. I think that's a baller move. And I love that it's a big fuck you, where it's just like, I'm just gonna make whatever the fuck I want, suck my ass.
Yeah.
It's the most it's very artistically pleasing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I love that one. Unapologetically, I love just the ballsiness of making a fucking art house film and a slasher film. And yeah, like I know after like okay, the first one he had to, I guess there were certain things he needed to do, but in this one he's like yeah, like you said, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do, and it was weird as fuck and I love it. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. Carlos, what do you think, man? What's your scorching hot take on that, or like
uh,
what's your movie that you feel like is underrated?
oh, I think one of the most underrated films is when people talk about slashers, like early slashers. They reference Halloween, they reference was it Black Christmas? But one movie people tend to forget is a movie called Bay of Blood by
Mm.
Mario
Mhm.
Bava.
Yeah.
And what is really unique about that movie, a lot of people may not have seen it, but they've seen it in the
Yeah.
sense that it's been copied. It's been, the whole idea. It takes place at a summer camp. It basically involves slashery kills. It has the standard giallo elements that were popular at the time, but done in a way that made people think, you know what, let's just do it this way instead because it's easier. And I love that movie. I love telling people about that movie. And after people watch it, like, holy shit, Friday the 13th ripped off some kills
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah, like there's like that stab through the
Yeah.
bed and into
Yeah.
the yeah, that was totally lifted right
And
one
then,
for one.
oh, yeah, absolutely. And then I just love that movie. And I love pushing that movie, especially since I was born the year it came out. So, and I love to remind people, hey, there's some great movies out there. If you like watching Friday the 13th, you like watching this, why don't you watch this? And you'll get an idea of what inspired it. And that's why I love that movie.
Absolutely. Got some other fans of that.
Yeah,
Gary, are
Mario
you
Bava, man.
yeah, man, Michael, you're a big Bava fan, right?
Yeah, I'd fuck Bava. I love his films. Um, I've specifically kept his lesser work just out of pure, just divine
Yeah.
holiness. Yeah, all of his movies are just beautiful to look at. They're vibes, and I love a good vibe. And they're
Yeah, they're works
usually
of
well,
arts. Yeah.
yeah, they're usually well written enough.
Yeah.
But it's the vibe, it's that Baba vibe that just gets me every time.
So good. Carlos, was Bay of, I mean, because it's been a minute since I've seen it, but if I'm remembering this correctly, like Bay of Blood starts out with like the most amazing fucking weird murder, and then it's sort of like it's like a domino effect of like they kill this like rich old lady by like strangling her. Yeah, okay. So I'm not losing my mind. All right.
Yeah, it starts off as your standard giallo movie, and then it moves over to, let's say, a summer camp kind of like a
Yeah.
Poconos type environment, and the friends hanging out, and that's what was unique about it, because when you watch it, you're like, holy shit, this is a slasher movie before they even came up with the idea of, hey, let's take a giallo and make it even lazier.
Yeah. Now Gary, you've seen that, or are you a fan? Are you a fan of Bava?
I discovered more Baba than probably than anybody else. I'm sure people know like his complete works, and I like the fact that he did many different kinds of films, westerns, and all kinds of stuff like that. Even something as cheesy as Dr. Goldfoot and the Girl Bombs, which is it's my kind of camp, people. It's not good. It's just my kind of camp, you know.
They're
Um,
fun.
they're very
They are
fun.
fun.
Yeah, I like the fact that he did many kinds of films, and I watched the horror stuff. I watched the non-horror stuff. I made a avid Baba fan hate me by making them watch Hercules in the Haunted World, and
Yes, Queen.
he had a real bad time with it. And I just love that
Oh,
his filmography is so vast. It's so great, you know.
God, that's crazy
Yeah.
that there are people that don't like Hercules in the Haunted World. That movie rips so hard.
You just need to go.
God
They just need
damn.
to go. Get out. If you don't like
I
it.
guess the first act is a little slow, if I remember right. But otherwise,
Sometimes you
it's
just
fucking
gotta
rad as
watch a
hell.
bunch of half-dressed men, with muscles just going, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
And like,
do. Yeah, you do.
Or overdubbed like in Diodato's The Barbarians, the brothers,
yes.
you know.
Yes.
So
Two big
fun.
guys, and they just like it's almost like they had like a little pipsqueak, do their voiceover.
Oh,
I'm a wrestling fan. I enjoy Richard Lynch's Chris Jericho hairdo in that movie. It's just it's a banger, man. It's amazing, you know.
nice. Now, building off on that, Gary, what's your what do you think is like a really underrated, underloved horror?
There's so many, but if I had to pick a go-to efficient, underrated horror film that I always I push it on to watch it. It has to be Jim Wynorski's Chopping Mall. It's
Yes.
77 minutes long. It doesn't waste any of it. I just have a good time with girls getting their heads blasted up by pretty gnarly laser beams, and
Yep.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
uh,
And
and
there's no
John,
chopping in it.
yeah, so no chopping in it. But John Turleski masterfully chews gum in that movie, and I love it every time I see it. It's like fluid, the gum chewing, and the line I say too often that nobody ever gets is, fuck the fuchsia, it's Friday. It's so good, you know.
Or
I,
you
I
gotta
love
look.
chopping mall. I just push it on people though, and most of them like it. So I think I did a good job.
I wait. So that's underrated.
Well, it's underrated, to some
Yeah.
people because they'll see, the name Jim
Oh,
Wynorski, just think like boobs, and that's all you see is boobs, and
I
Yeah.
don't.
I
I
think
don't know that.
hmm?
I don't know that I've ever met a single person who didn't like Chopping Mall,
Yeah.
and who like didn't bring it up unprompted.
No,
Uh, like to the point that I would say it's a little overrated. Because
yeah.
it's a very fun movie. But it's a very anticlimactic and
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's perfect at
simple movie.
all. It's just
Oh no, yeah, no, I mean I love
yeah,
Chopping Mall. Let me just
yeah,
let me clear the air. Let's not get controversial here on this
yeah.
podcast now.
Fight,
Uh,
fight.
No, it's okay.
Like I would say if you went to the key demographic for these kinds of movies, i.e., like the Joe Bob crowd, and you were like, "Yo, dog, Chopping Mall," they'd just be like, "Wow,"
Well,
because they love it so much.
those are your
Or they'd be
people,
quiet because
Yeah,
they're mostly autistic, but the idea remains the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Um,
those are your people, and I like to find the people that aren't my people, and say, hey, you want to have fun with a horror film, and have meaning behind it. Like I'd say, Demons 2, on the right day is better than Demons, that their first Demons to me.
Yeah.
And, for the simple reason is you watch it, and if you're that guy that doesn't like company, the whole plot of that movie is that she didn't want company, and they brought folks over anyway, and then they fucking got demons. Okay, it's it's weird. I have weird takes on stuff, and I do love chopping mall, but I like to find people that don't dig my vibe and say this would be underrated by you, but underrated horror film. Dang, we're gonna go into sequels, so this is hard to pick one. It's
I was gonna say we can go
yeah,
around again. It's no big
that's
deal.
okay. No, I'm fine. I'm
I
fine. I
wanted,
just
yeah, I
I
want.
have another one. I have another one
Ooh,
I can bring up.
yeah,
A lot of people talk about, Sam Raimi's movies, Evil Dead, but does anyone ever bring up Intruders? That's one of those
yes.
criminally underrated movies of the 80s. And it's just so weird because you watch, you're like, holy shit, how come this isn't mentioned more? Because it's such a fucking badass movie.
That's the one in the grocery store, right?
Yes.
So I used to work at a grocery store. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that's fucking wild. I love it. Yeah, I a million percent agree.
Okay, so
That
Intruder, like the Sam Raimi produced one.
Oh,
yeah.
Intruder. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, oh fuck, what the fuck are they talking about? Oh
True.
jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Intruder fucking rips. That's one that I'd say is certainly underrated in the sense that it's not brought up enough. I remember I feel like when it came out on DVD or something, there was a big hubbub about it for a little
Mm,
while, like a little
yeah.
bubble of fuck yeah, the Intruder. Mm. Uh, I was very into the horror forums back in the day.
Oh, I could see you like hunched over. Well, actually, this is really like no. So we
Between
were
Lynch
talking.
and Cronenberg.
See, and
um,
in a movie like that, you would have needed the box cover to grab your attention on that movie because back in the 80s, it was like looking for albums. You're like, hey, this looks cool, this looks cool. And nowadays, there's so many movies out, you almost are looking for that cool poster or that movie just like say, hey, let me go check this out, not knowing that an artist will do a picture and someone else will make a movie, and you're like, what the fuck? What did I just watch?
yes, and
I need someone to make posters like that for me.
yeah. Um, no, I like fondest memories is like I had an old school mom and pop VHS store, and it was like I would definitely rent whatever looked the sickest, the most fucked up. Like I'm actually kind of glad that yeah. um like it was funny because like my parents at a certain point just gave up and were like, just rent what you're gonna rent whatever you want because it's not that they didn't give a shit, but like they figured it was like useless. I was gonna seek that shit out anyway. So
You're gonna
um
find a way to watch it, so why, just
yeah,
whatever.
just give in and just wear them down. Which has worked in all my relationships actually. So
That's how I approach Pornhub, actually.
all right. So we were talking a little bit about Pit, which I think is severely underrated creature feature from the 80s. And like, oh my God, I fucking love that movie so much. It is like,
Wait, the pit?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, with the teddy bear.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because I'm an old man, I remember like when Anchor Bay put that out. And I fucking loved it because it was just this mishmash of like, I don't know, like Carrie kind of with the revenge, or like you had the talking teddy bear that they sort of imply is actually sentient, but they don't really
Yep.
explain it because why the fuck would you? And then you have troglodytes, and then you have everything else under the sun. It's a little bit of a sexploitation movie, but
Yeah.
also it's not. I don't know. It's just fucking everything, and I love
I
They
share your love so hard for the pit. It is
it.
such a fucking magical elixir of a movie. And I love that thing about it, like rapidly changing almost genres,
Yeah.
or at least subgenres throughout. and it's just kind of like throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks, and a lot of it sticks because I guess it's a big wall. Um, and it's so mean-spirited in its humor
Yeah.
and so straight-faced about it.
And no,
'Cause
it's
you can't-
strangely funny. I mean, the
Yeah,
music
well-
they play is whimsical. It's almost like
it feels
yeah.
like it's an intended thing. Like we're
Yeah.
gonna make this funny, but we're not gonna be jokey about it. We're just gonna let it breathe on its own and naturally be the fucking bonkers bullshit that we are creating. Was that
Yeah.
Canadian?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
It was
that's
Canadian,
that's your
filmed in
problem.
Wyoming.
It also has one of the most is it pedophilia bathtub scenes ever because he's kind of
Oh,
pursuing her. You know, if you think about it, the kid's kind of pursuing her a little bit. You know, but
Because he's like, my mom washes me even when I am not dirty or something, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh wow, that's it's a
I've
lot.
used that line.
I mean, or like when he takes the camera and he takes a picture of the librarian when she thinks that she's on the phone. I mean, I'm like, the balls on this kid. It's like he creates his own his own topless photos by freaking people out. I'm like, Jesus Christ, who does that?
Yeah, and he it's like his sex pestery just keeps escalating to like probably like federal charges,
Yes.
like the faking of the kidnapping and blackmailing her into topless photos. Like that's like,
That would put you in a registry.
yes. Jesus Christ.
And confirm.
I'm just grateful that there wasn't sound effects like there was a Nightmare Sisters during that bathtub scene. You know,
Yeah.
although I do enjoy the sound effects with the nudity in Nightmare Sisters, you know, because they're growing and stuff, and you know, I love those women.
I think I'm gonna have to go rewatch it again because it was a friend of mine that recommended I watch it. It's one of those. Strangely enough, I only watched it like in the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I got to go watch it again because that is just a wild ass crazy movie.
Yeah. You know, Gary, you were talking about like showing, like trying to introduce and push a lot of these movies onto like unsuspecting victims, which I love. And that's definitely one of these movies that I'm like, The Pit. Like if you want to hang with me, if you want to like truly know my heart of hearts, The fucking Pit is just fucking amazing.
Just like there's that new Spider movie that's coming out. It looks okay, but I would show us like, hey, we're gonna see this movie, but let's watch Ticks first and see how you like
Absolutely.
that. You know,
Yes. Oh my God.
my kind of cheese. You know.
Yeah. I would you all say like Ticks isn't underrated anymore since it's got like kind of like had a 4K release and
Yeah, as far as I would say as far as like reception, it's not underrated.
Yeah.
I would say maybe outside of the natural audience,
yeah.
people don't know what the fuck it is. So I guess it's a type of underrated, but I wouldn't
I think it's one of
call
those.
it
Yeah.
underrated.
I think it's one of those movies that people look back and say, "Wow, they were in that," you know, because you've got those movies where unfamous people or not so famous people, and you look back at their previous movies, you're like, "Why the hell did they do that?" Oh, it's
Yeah.
because they were wanting a paycheck, kind of like
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, you know.
I will say I feel like and I might be wrong about this because it was one of those like recent discoveries. The Nest seems like kind of an underrated horror flick.
Yes.
I only just watched that finally because a friend of mine is really into bugs to like a fetishistic degree.
Oh wow.
And she's great. And so I showed her a bug movie, and it was between Ticks and the Nest, and we went with the Nest.
Yeah.
And fucking Nest rips so goddamn hard. That is like the most heavy metal killer roach movie you could possibly imagine.
Absolutely. I mean, because you think back in the 70s with like Phase 4 or with the Swarm. I mean, that was a time when you had killer creatures, but the 80s basically took it to the next level. And you're like, holy shit.
Oh my God. Do y'all remember Squirm?
Yes.
Squirm's great.
Yeah.
Squirm fucking rules.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about overrated ones or underrated ones. I mean, I think Bug is quite good with the exploding things in front of the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, which one is that? What year was that one? I'm not sure if I think I've heard of that one. I think I've seen it. I don't know why I'm thinking of the Ashley Judd movie.
Explode.
Yeah, that was where my mind went to.
Hmm?
Oh, the 75 movie. I haven't seen that one. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Oh, from the director of Supergirl. Oh my God, how have I not seen this?
Yeah,
I was gonna
same.
say, yeah. I don't know.
Oh my
I don't know if I've
God.
seen. I don't
Add
know if
to
I've seen this
watch
one.
list.
Right?
Yeah, it's
Same.
not bad.
Eventually happens.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh, I
Like
know this one. Yes, yes. Oh,
like
yeah. That's
like
yeah.
ecological horror, you know.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah. See, the 70s. That's what
Yeah.
the 70s was great about. You had animals attacking humans because global warming and other stuff going on. The smog and just it was just a crazy time. I mean, I love
Yeah.
being born in the 70s, growing up with the 70s and the 80s, and you see the progression of horror from being silly kind of this to like, holy shit, what the fuck were they thinking?
Oh, Ants. Do y'all remember that one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ants is good,
I
yeah.
I know the cover. I never seen it
Yeah, the
before.
cover's like with like wasn't her like tits just covered in ants or
Yeah,
something?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say for
Woody
your
Allen was great in that.
but if we're talking like bug though, I mean I will say like the Ashley Judd. I mean, is it a horror movie? I guess it's maybe more like a thriller,
Bug.
but like
Uh,
yeah.
I think you could make a good argument for it to be horror.
Like
Yeah.
psychological horror at least.
Yeah, sure. Fuck
But
it. It's all make believe.
yeah. God damn it, these are my roles, and it is a horror movie, and I love it. No,
Yeah, feel that energy.
oh my god, I like when she's like screams like I am the aphid queen or something at the end, and it's like she's just selling the shit out of this ridiculous fucking movie, and it almost feels like a sort of 70s or 80s throwback with just probably better actors, better everything, but like yeah, I don't know, it definitely has that. I don't know if it's like it's not really campy, but there definitely are moments where it's like, ooh, it deliciously slides into that
I mean,
Yeah,
sweetness.
they start
it's
acting pretty
yeah.
fucking wacky. So yeah.
They're not taking themselves seriously. They're just saying, you know what, we're just gonna go to town with this and just
Oh,
go with it.
that is
I mean,
such a
for a movie based on a play, it is very theatrical. Uh, it
yeah.
they hit the cheap seats with those performances at times.
It's the
And
same. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say it was just I think like the guy that also wrote Killer Joe, which I think is also a
Yeah,
fucking banger.
same guy. Yeah.
One of my
Uh
most favorite white trashy things. It shot the charts real fast. Let's put it that way. You know.
yeah.
Wow, it's directed by
Filet,
William Friedkin.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yep.
The
Shit.
king of pissing off theater goers, William Friedkin.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh my god, fucking Matthew McConaughey and that chicken leg. Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's pure fucking camp. I don't care how you dress it up. That's like, mm, just give it to me. I love it.
yeah.
So before we move on to the next topic, is there any other kind of underrated horror stuff you want to pop out before we go to the overrated beloved classics?
Um, there's this movie called The Head that I think is really underrated, and
Mm.
it's like super good. It's hard to find because it has a stupid generic title that was probably made up by some fucking idiot. But if you look up The Head, it's from 2019, yeah, and quite a film. Doesn't get the praise it deserves. Shot on video. Don't let that deter you. It's a modern classic, and you should go and give it 3.5 stars.
Nice. Shot on video is not a deterrent. It actually like I want to see it even more now. I love.
Oh, not you. I'm talking about the plebes in the audience.
Oh, okay. The less sophisticated among us.
The fucking losers.
Yeah, the wannabes.
Yeah.
So Carlos or Gary, do you have another one before we head to the next topic?
Let me see. Oh, here's another one. From the early 70s. Again, Horror Express. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Yes, with Christopher Lee, right?
Yes, I absolutely love watching it because it's like they say, you know what? They talk about The Thing, the remakes. Like, no. The Thing was remade in the 70s as Horror Express.
Yeah.
And it's just so awesome. I mean, just Telly Savalas and just It's basically like the Thing, yes, like the 82 Thing, but just a little earlier, almost like a little hammery with like Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. But it's just such a fun movie because you're like, holy shit, why don't people talk about that movie a lot? Because it's
Yeah.
such a damn good movie.
I remember it being like, I don't know, it has a very weird vibe, and that's what I really loved about it. Um, but it's been kind of forever since I've seen that. I need to like, I have it somewhere. I need to like get
Yeah, I have a
into it
4K version of it that was that I got at a fan convention to,
again.
to replace the cheesy like DVD that I found in some, like, because it was one of those movies I discovered just, going through my bin. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. It's got Christopher Lee in it. And I was like, holy shit, how did I not know about this movie?
Oh, nice. Gary, do you have another one before we do a different topic?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay. All right. So overrated, beloved classics. So I will let Michael, do you want to start this one off?
Overrated beloved classic.
Yes, give it just
Halloween 2. The 80s one.
Okay.
That fucking movie. Look, Halloween, okay. Halloween 2 is certainly a good slasher movie. I will not take away that distinction. The cinematography is, so beautiful it makes your nipples hard enough to cut glass. And that's good cinematography right there. And once you get past the dumbass script and the many bullshit choices,
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think is he frozen on your end?
I think he's
Yeah,
frozen. Yeah.
Yeah, frozen on
Okay.
my end too.
Okay.
made away, and the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis is sidelined until I think past the mid. I feel like did I fall out there?
Yeah, for a little bit. I think you're good now.
It was the perfect rant. It's lost like stardust.
No one was there. No one was there to listen to it.
Does it even exist now?
Damn. Point is, Halloween 2. It's a very messy movie, in a not great way. I like a good messy movie. This is not a good messy movie. This is just a movie that exists for the sake of existing, and kind of just farts along for a good chunk of time. But it's mostly great to look at, not as luscious as the first Halloween, but it's got a good vibe to it. It's got some good kills, nothing really amazing outside of the tub. But you know what? That's
hammer thing was pretty rad.
The hammer's okay. The scalpel thing is really cool, albeit impractical. I'll allow impractical for cool fucking visuals every time.
She must have weighed 5 pounds. I mean, seriously, come on, how you do that?
Well, he got in the spine just right, and he put a bit of his fist into it. It wasn't just the scalpel doing all the work. It's behind the scenes. You
really gotta get that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's those biceps. Oh my god! If you watch the real Halloween too, goddamn.
I've got pictures of Tyler Mane. That guy is huge.
He has a big motherfucker. Oh, he's a bit. Oh god, I would love to cuddle him.
He does give good hugs. I will say that.
Nice.
I would say most overrated horror movies, especially beloved horror movies, which I believe is the task, tend to be at least good. It's just that people react like fucking lunatics over them for no real good reason other than usually nostalgia, or I just like to see him kill, bro. Those guys are pretty easy to please too. But for me, it's one I tend to not rewatch because I just find it kind of boring.
Yeah. So I think my hot take on that is at least the first time I watched it, did not connect with It Follows. Like, I don't understand. Like, I get, the discourse on it, of course, but I just never really
What are you, some kind of fucking communist? What the fuck's wrong?
Right?
What is this?
I know.
This piece of shit. Burn him!
This guy doesn't appreciate movies.
Doesn't appreciate real art, damn it.
I'm putting out a John Wick style hit on this man right now. He
A24
didn't immediately
wants you.
connect with It Follows. Piece of shit.
But I don't know. I just so I remember seeing that on a limited run with an audience, and like I was trying to get into it, and it's not that I do appreciate cerebral horror. I like all kinds of stuff, but like I don't know. I just wasn't vibing with it. I didn't connect with it, and I thought like the ending was just kind of gibberish. Like I don't. It's one I do want to kind of maybe give another rewatch, maybe fresher eyes. But
I mean, it's
yeah,
definitely one of those like we have a great first two acts. Oh fuck, there's a third one, isn't there?
yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
movies.
I thought it was an interesting. Yeah, you're right. Like I think it all kind of falls apart in this and the third act. There's another movie that I think's pretty overrated that is exactly the same, but um I will get to that later. Gary, do you want to kick the next one off? What do you think is a beloved classic that's overrated?
There's many that I don't enjoy as much as other people enjoy, that I think are overrated. But if I had to pick one that people, put on a pedestal, and I guess they should because it became iconic, and made a bunch of sequels that I think are superior to the first ones, most of them. Uh, the original Friday the 13th is that film for me. I enjoy it, you know, as a film, but once I watch it, I'll watch it once in a blue moon, but usually I can skip to the second one to say, hey, previously on Friday the 13th, and that's all the Friday the 13th I need, is in
Yeah.
there previously on the Friday the 13th. And when people like put it up there like it's like the best slasher of the 80s or something, I wouldn't say they say that, but they hold it in high regard, and I just don't see it. There's better slashers out there than that movie, and yeah, I think I enjoy part five where there is no Jason better than the first one. I have a lot more fun with it. And it's one of those things where you grow up, you're a grown up now, and you see the killer. Spoilers, it's an old lady, Mrs. Voorhees. And you see like how she places the bodies and stuff. Like, did she get like the mommy powers? Like when you lift the body off the car, your
The
child,
adrenaline,
and
yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
And you watch it and you're like,
Obviously.
there must be something supernatural play here, but they really don't say all that, and they never explain why she could do this, and it's more logic, and I think I I see better kills in other movies, and like we mentioned, was it before the show or during the show? We mentioned Bay of Blood. During the show, I
Sure.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You watch that and you see, like, oh, I see what they did here, and then it makes me like it less. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So overrated. First Friday the 13th. Underrated. Friday Part 5. Go watch that one instead, in my opinion.
The chocolate
I-
bar.
Oh, so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Poor
It's
buddy.
wild to both agree and disagree at the same time in such a like unified.
No, I think you lost him again.
Yeah.
It's every time he tries to rant.
Yeah.
Like we're shutting him down. God damn it! I was waiting
Yeah.
for it too. I love it.
Yep. I know. It's like he's got a good take. It's like, damn it, you're missing
I
out.
know, and he's like frozen in the perfect like
In an intellectual pose and everything. Like, yeah,
manner.
let me lay it down.
Because I promise that I've been delivering nothing but hits every time I've frozen out of existence. Like, for those of you who are disappointed, just know you're missing the best parts.
We truly
Absolutely.
are. Yes.
the best.
It's lit as shit, fam.
It's like Mike Vaughn's podcast after
I
recording.
don't know why my computer's like, you have an Ethernet connection. We're going to use the Wi-Fi instead.
Oh, I hate that.
Fuck you. I
Yeah.
bought a really long cable for this shit. I need okay.
Yeah. No, it's funny. You were in prime like rant mode too when it froze. So I was like, God damn it.
Nothing. It's
You might need to record yourself because we gotta watch those outtakes because damn it, we missed out on some gold.
It's like, oh, I think we lost him again.
It's just lost art. And you know what? That's the real art, right? Fucking God. It makes sense that they would do that at that
Yeah.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, let's just pretend that we wrote this as a gag, because honestly, it works
Yeah,
much better
it's
than
Yeah.
good.
in
Yeah.
reality.
Um,
Print the legend.
damn it, that's right. This was all planned. Listen, it's not a, it's a bit, it's cool. Yeah, I don't know if I had Carlos. I'm sorry, you didn't get your what was your underrated or yeah, no, sorry, overrated beloved masterpiece?
Well, I'll mention two movies. One of them, okay, since I go to a lot of fan cons, there are a lot of people always talking about Leprechaun. Like, oh my God, it's so brilliant, so wonderful. And I'm one of the person saying, seriously, watch that. And I'm just the one naysayer that I'm sorry. I like silly horror movies, and you know to me a rule for horror movies is if you go into space and you go in the hood, sorry, you've lost your right to make any more franchises, because Leprechaun did both of them. But the other movie I wanted to mention, the one that's a little more like, let's say, like It Follows, more recent, Hereditary. Now,
Mm.
I appreciate what the movie is and what it's about, but I remember watching and thinking, oh my God, this movie, everyone's talking about it's such a brilliant, such this. I'm like, you don't watch a lot of disturbing movies, do you? This is not an avant-garde movie. It's not like when like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon came out, people were like raving on it. If you actually watch foreign movies, this movie is basically that style. And
Mm.
I guess for me, Hereditary is just so creepy and weird and disturbing. The reason why people hate Midsommar, I dislike Hereditary, and you know what? I appreciate the actors in it because they do brilliant work. I just can't watch that movie again. It's just,
Yeah.
ugh.
See, what Hereditary does for me is I don't watch it very often, but I do enjoy it. I'm just not ready for that level of depression, in my life to watch Hereditary, because by the time we get to the end, it's not a happy ending for anybody at all. You're
Yeah.
like,
Ooh.
I'm just sad now.
It's a horror
See,
movie about depression.
I'm a sociopath, so I look at that and I go, man, glad it's not me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when her head gets taken off, he's like, "Yeah, fuck you. It's not me."
It's funny. I met the actress who played her, and I think she had mentioned casually that people like she likes to autograph pictures of her head, just because people just like, and she understands a lot of people didn't like her character, but you know what? I think she did a good job. I
Oh
didn't like her
yeah.
character, but she did a great job, and her sister is just as good an actress as well in her own right.
Hmm. Wait, who's her sister?
I forgot what movies she's in, but she's also an actress in quite a number of things. But
Nice.
no, it's just one of those crazy movies that when people talk about it, and I'm like, okay, yes, I understand. It's like, maybe you should watch more movies, then you'd understand that Hereditary is not the only creepy, disturbing,
Yeah.
dysfunctional family horror movie out there.
So if I had to pick another one, Creep is one that like, so here's the thing. I I like the first two acts of Creep. I think they're actually like low key kind of brilliant. I love the framing device. I love the like weird mockumentary thing. Why am I blanking on the guy that was in that?
Duplass, Mark Duplass.
Yes, yes. I love what was it the Dupas brothers? I love like other stuff that they do.
Oh yeah,
I
they're great together.
I think like the ending for me kind of just unravels everything, and then it kind of makes everything that came before it maybe like less interesting. Because at a certain point I'm like, dude, this guy's a psychopath. Why would you go back to him? And then he does, and then what, he gets his fucking head chopped off. And then I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what you deserve. Like, um, I don't know. Again, I can appreciate a lot of elements in it. It really didn't come together for me. And I know a lot of people like the sequel too. And I think like the sequel is definitely has some interesting stuff, but is, I mean, definitely worse. What do you all think about that one? Am I like totally off base here? Should I get the fuck out?
Yeah, that's a fair. I don't know that there's really been any super hot takes so far. That one included. But I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I would personally say that Creep is pretty fucking sick, but I mean, yeah, it's not a perfect film.
I mean, for me, Creep's just creepy because I'm so used to seeing that actor doing comedies and doing more like family related stuff. So, you know, when you see him playing this creepy, weird, friendly guy, almost like what's that movie Be My Cat? You know, he's just like such an over enthusiastic, friendly, weird guy, you know, and the fact that you go back to his house and you're not like running the hell away from him, that I mean, the guy didn't deserve to die, but it's like, dude, what did you expect was going to happen? This guy is like, he upped the creep back by 11, you know, and it's
see, I also have social anxiety, so I agree.
I don't know. I think it really had me hooked. There was a lot of things that I thought the premise was interesting. I mean, the fucking I thought everything until the ending just took me out of it in a big way. So I don't know. I hated it, and I was glad he died because I felt like he deserved it.
yeah.
I have no frame of reference. I haven't seen it before, so it's out there. I just never actually watched it though.
Yeah, and it seems like everybody loves it, and everybody's so shocked when I say I don't really vibe with it that much. I don't hate it. I think there is a lot of really good things to appreciate with it. I'm not. I mean, like you were saying, Michael, I'm not really like scorched earth with a lot of these things. Like, you know, even like these beloved classics that I don't like. I mean, there's still, you know, there's still a reason why they're considered classics. They just don't necessarily like Amityville, the original Amityville Horror.
Oh yeah, fuck that piece of shit. Am I right?
It's I don't know. I like kind of think I
hate
like
it. Hate it.
I mean,
let the hate consume you.
I mean, here.
It's
I mean,
boring.
I don't know. For the remake part, I will give you my real thoughts on that. But anyways, yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's just a movie that like has this reputation for being so scary, and there's like some interesting things in it, but like it's very dull, and also I don't know. It almost feels like it ends prematurely when it's not really over. I don't know.
I like it
think
okay. Amityville Horror. Amityville 2 is more fun, obviously. You know, with the brother sister relations and stuff.
Incest, yes.
Incest is wincest, yeah.
Would I rather be watching The Car with James Brolin? Yes, over Amityville Horror.
God.
You know,
yes. All right.
Girl, you know what we talking about around here. Okay.
Yeah, the thing about Amityville Horror is I remember watching when it came out is it was a zeitgeist film when it came out, just like Blair Witch Project. I mean, everybody was into the movie because, you know, it was based on a true story. There were books, the magazines, everything was about this movie. And I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but going back to me, it's not even the best haunted house movie of the 70s. There's so many better ones out there. But what my ultimate curse of Amityville to this day is it has somehow become the movie that every shitty indie director has decided, I'm going to make Amityville Karen, I'm going to make Amityville in the Hood, I'm going to make Amityville Ghost House. I'm like, shut up already. Stop stealing Amityville. It's not a good thing to put on your title. You call your stuff the movie the Amityville such and such, it's going to be shit.
That's actually one of those things that has bugged me forever. And one of my like little side projects that I have squirreled away is I want to make an Amityville such and such movie, but I'm going to make just the most aesthetically pleasing art house musical that I can possibly create.
Yes.
Probably for not a lot of money either, but
Amityville The Room.
Yes.
You see, nobody's trying to remake Burnt Offerings. That makes me happy. See, that nobody's trying to remake that.
Ooh, Burnt Offerings is fucking
God damn, I love that movie.
fire.
But in a good way. I love Burnt Offerings. You know, so leave it alone. You know
that and
you know
Legend of Hell House.
Legend of Hell House fucking rips. You know what movie really sucks? Well, a movie that really just is a real piece of shit. I don't know what it is with me and sequels, but Jaws 2. What a fucking boring ass movie. And I'm not usually one of those like, well, this is not the right place to film this, but you're gonna swap northeastern United States beaches with Pensacola?
Wow. I didn't
Piece
realize
of
that.
shit motherfuckers. What a fucking terrible decision. Mostly because it triggers my hatred of my hometown, Pensacola, Florida. What a goddamn nightmare. And it's just like, what if we did Jaws again, but like Steven Spielberg obviously isn't the director? Yeah, let's do that. We need an explosion because it's that worst kind of just we're
And it
gonna
needs
do it
kids.
again, but bigger.
Lots of kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Lots of
God.
kids. Not enough kids are murdered in that film. That is my hot take of the evening day is not enough children murdered.
Yeah, listen,
I think
and
you could go Blob times like 27. And
yes,
it would be oh, let the fishy eat, let the fishy eat. But instead, it's just like, well, look how inspiring because they still want some of that Spielberg touch too. They're like kind of in the J.J. Abramsing too close to the sun, which is also just called J.J. Abramsing.
Lens flare.
Like, I don't like, it just bugs the shit out of me, man.
Yeah.
Because like Jaws 3, dumb as fucking a bag of concrete, but so fun to watch. And Jaws 4, total piece of shit, but god damn it, it's our piece of shit. Jaws 2 is just bad Jaws.
Yeah.
And Jaws 5, it's so bad it wasn't even a Jaws movie. Cruel Jaws.
So speaking of child murder, the only thing that I liked about the Nun
I like
2,
where you're going. Okay.
Yeah, you're like, I'm with you. I'm with
Okay.
you. Yeah, the Nun 2 just awful, but kids getting murdered in fun ways. I'm here for it. That was a good time. Everything else was pretty shit, but that was like the only good part
Wait,
of
which
that.
movie?
The Nun 2.
The Nun 2. Oh, I didn't see it. Should I watch it for the child murder?
For the child murder. I mean, I recall like one getting eviscerated pretty early on, and I was
Ooh.
like, yeah, I was like, all right, I'm here for this. Unfortunately, it wasn't just nothing but that, but we should make a we should make a movie together.
Yeah. I always wish that Face Off, instead of it starting with his son getting shot in a dramatic fashion in slow motion, it should have just been like no music. Child gets hit by a hollow point bullet and it just shreds his insides all over John Travolta. And he just for 5 solid minutes watches as his son dies in his arms. While like the credits maybe no, actually, you know what? You don't even allow the credits. You get nothing else.
No,
you just get
nothing.
A static shot of him mourning his son. And then we cut to black, have about, I don't know, 10 minutes is enough to consider all of that. So 10 minutes of all the credits, kind of like at the start of Tar, but less fun. And and then the rest of the movie. I think that's the way to do it.
I love it. Yes, I will also finance that film. Let's make it happen. So horror sequel hot takes. I know we've kind of already done that, I guess. But do you all have any other sort of horror sequel hot takes, or do we want to move on?
I feel like the Hellraiser series was just basically 2 good movies, and let's grab this random movie and just put Pinhead in for 5 minutes.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. Oh, okay. Hellraiser 3, I will grant you. I will grant you Hellraiser 3. That is an overrated piece of shit. Hellraiser 4.
One of them would have made a. I think one of them would have made a good
shit.
Event Horizon sequel or prequel or something.
See, you got to open your mind, man. You got to appreciate the possibilities, different connections we can make, man, through cinema. You can put those Cenobites in fucking space, dog, and that's okay because they're fucking demons from hell, dog. I would have loved a proper Pinhead in the Hood.
Yes,
they would have to, if they took it like aggressively seriously. That would be my
Mhm.
fucking kryptonite right there.
Yes.
But also like the remake was fine. It's
Yeah.
not really a remake, it's a reboot, whatever.
Yeah.
The great Hellraiser, what was that, 2020?
2 years
Um,
ago
yeah.
So
with the
2020,
female
yeah.
pinhead.
Hellraiser
Yeah.
22, done. There's practically that many sequels anyway. Fuck it. Like
Exactly.
So
Whoa.
maybe this is my sequel hot take, but I guess it's not really a sequel. But I just thought the Hellraiser remake was fine. Everybody seemed to love it, and I was like, I mean, listen, I'm happy for people liking shit, but also like, it wasn't that good. It just felt like a very bland.
It's
And
because you
you
got
know
almost
what?
felt. Hmm.
it's because you got so much crap before it. I thought Hellraiser Judgment was underrated in my opinion because they tried something different, you know, and
I
I
agree
li-
with you, even
I
though
liked it.
I that movie for me is kind of a piece of shit overall.
Yeah,
Out of all the sequels, it's the one I most admire for what it tried to do. I do think that he's great at effects and he's great at shooting effects. He's not a great director, and definitely not a great writer,
oh
uh,
yeah. Oh,
which
it wasn't
is
like
his
the best
unfortunate
sliced bread or
downfall.
anything.
But yeah, but it was fascinating, and when it was fucking, it was fucking. Um, but that I would definitely grant you. While Hellraiser 22 is kind of this like, we're gonna kind of play the hits, sort of. We're gonna do our own thing, but we're mostly gonna play the hits.
Yeah.
And then introduces all of like the best shit like right at the fucking tail end. And you're like, that could have been like if you the I can't remember his fucking name because no, I don't remember his fucking single name from that movie, but uh the bad guy when he has the thing in his
Oh
chest
yeah.
and they unveil that, like it would take a lot of like you'd have to completely rewrite the entire fucking movie, which they should have done anyway. But you make that like the midpoint of the film, or you make him the like you make him more like, you don't make it a twist, you don't make it a third act. Whoa. You move it up to the midpoint and then you let it proceed from there. Like, oh, well, that would be so fucking good. They didn't do that. They just made a fucking
Yeah. And like
perfectly good
here,
movie.
I mean, here's my thing. Like, and I got to interview the director, and I even talked to him a little bit about this. Is like, it's a fucking Hellraiser movie. This movie was based on like S&N clubs and like kink and like shit that's supposed to make like people uncomfortable. But this feels so marginalized and it feels so homogenized. I don't know. It just
Yeah.
like it's like, where is that fucking like leather, sweaty, like fucking not gross out, but just stuff that's really like pushing that fucking envelope when it comes to like kink and
Yeah.
sex and being like overtly kind of queer, but then also maybe some gender fuckery or like when I talked to Peter Atkins, who was such an awesome person. And when him and Clive Barker were like really getting into like Hellraiser and stuff, it never was about like gay or queer or straight or bi. It was just all that shit meld together, like in this, hedonistic kind of way. And I'm like, fuck, that's what I want from a Hellraiser. Like, just fucking do that.
I agree with you so hard about that, because one of the things that drives me nuts is you have the ability to go so hard, so much harder. Because like there's that whole story with the first movie where like they had to limit the number of thrusts with
Mm-hmm.
Frank and Julia during the sex scene flashback. And it's like they had so many fucking restrictions, not only budgetarily, but just like what content they could show. You could go like you could take oh fuck, Al Pacino, gay underground serial killer, cruising.
Oh, cruising,
Um
cruising. Yep.
you can take cruising, take that as far as you can go, and then add in Pinhead,
Yeah.
and you've got a fucking film.
They have they have
Uh
a, they have a public fisting scene in that movie, so
uh so that's my medicine. But they try the thing that I feel like a lot of producers or writers or there's some disconnect here where it's like, okay, we're going to try something different, but we're going to keep the things that people like. And when they say
Yeah.
they want to keep the things that people like,
No.
Okay. Dang it. Just when it gets good, it's like, what the hell? But I think, yeah, what he's trying to say is that, you know, that you're not focusing on what made the story great. You know,
Yeah.
you want to put the guy with the needles on there, you know, Pinhead, and basically say, oh, let's just put him in there. Well, why is he there? I
Mhm.
don't know. Well, then you're not getting the story. You know, it's not just about him showing up. It's about him, you know, introducing people to pleasure and
Like, what
pain.
they mean is they want
Yeah.
to keep the
Oh,
iconic
sorry.
character.
Yeah. Oh,
No, there we go.
yeah.
I think it might actually be the Zoom app that is fucking me in the ass right now.
Hmm.
It's like you go back to Judgment again. I'll go back to Howard's Judgment again. You know, where you had this whole different thing, and at the very end you say, "By the way, Pinhead is in this movie." I could have did
Yeah.
without it. I could have did without it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so but the point is, the thing that makes the movie so good is the atmosphere and the world, as well as the Cenobites.
Yeah.
It's not, and it's Frank's story. It's not really. It's never good when it's Pinhead's story anyway. Pinhead
Yeah.
shouldn't be a focus.
He's a hedonist, and he's looking for that new high, that extreme, and that's what's, you know, he went so far that he had his everything ripped apart, and then he wants to be put back together so he can keep doing it again. You're like, what in the fuck is
Like,
wrong
that's
with
a
you?
fucking plot right there.
Yeah.
That's the shit. And the thing that they did was, like, you know, obviously you can't make that necessarily the hero character, but you can make it the through line.
Yeah.
And that's why Hellraiser works versus Hellraiser 22.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna I think I'm gonna bail because this is taking a little
Okay.
bit longer than anticipated. And my every time I have a beautiful, glorious moment, it goes to fuck all. But I think you're all beautiful, and I love you, and you should all go rate The Head on Letterboxd 2019, 3.5
All right.
stars.
We'll do it.
God
Hey, it was so
damn
good.
it!
It was good having you.
Okay, bye.
All right. See
Michael, you take care, man. Good talking to you.
Okay, I won't.
it. Okay.
Mr.
Yeah, 'cause
Sardonicus.
I fucking love Michael so much. We've done a couple videos together. Like I did a Scream 4 good actually. He like was able to rip me that movie to make that video even possible. I will link where you can check his YouTube channel out and please support him. He's again
Oh,
fucking
cool.
awesome. Love him. And you know, we'll try to have him on again. You know, maybe I'll try to like upgrade and not I use Zoom because like I have the Zoom Pro, so it's not timed out and all that good stuff. But yeah, we'll get it worked out. But anyways, let's do a lightning round. Horror remakes. So I'll kick it off. We were talking about Amityville. I like the remake of Amityville Horror more than I like the original. There, I said it.
It certainly is a better movie. For me, it's, I guess the nostalgia keeps me liking the original. But you know what? Ryan Reynolds and Melissa George are pretty good, and Chloe Grace Moretz,
Yep.
so wonderful in that, and that's her first movie. So
Yeah. And like honestly, like, and I think this is very topical, right? Because of like Deadpool, you know, Ryan Reynolds and stuff. Like he's not playing like Ryan Reynolds, right? Like he's not playing Deadpool. Like he actually is sort of has a character and character arc going on. And unfortunately, you know, as much as I like Deadpool, as much as the next person does, or maybe doesn't, or whatever, but like I don't know. It's nice to see him actually like acting or like really stretching himself as a
yeah,
yeah.
he's having fun with it.
Yeah, he is.
I seen that so long ago, the Amityville Horror remake, that I need to watch it again at frame of reference. It's been that long since
Yeah.
I think I purchased a DVD from Hollywood Video a long time ago.
That's how long it's been. Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Just so you know, there've been about 25 movies released since called the Amityville something,
Oh yes,
and
yes,
honestly,
yes.
only 2 of them are worth talking about, and only one of them is really good. You know, I mean, there's like one that's actually pretty good. The rest are just, now some of them are fun. I think the Amityville Christmas and Amityville Thanksgiving were silly but fun, and they just threw the word Amityville in because shit, why not? Why the fuck
Oh, yeah.
not?
Well,
As opposed to, yeah. Oh.
we were talking about like sequels, hot takes from it. Some of my favorite sequels are some of the ones that jump the shark with every installment, and I can name a couple series that do that. Um, Ghoulies, for example. The second one is in the carnival. The third one, the Ghoulies go to college, and it's really silly. And in the fourth one, Jim Wynorski directs it and says, "You know what? Little creatures, who needs that? We got a girl with big tits and leather. Let's put her in the movie."
Yeah.
You know,
Get a load of these ghoulies.
get a load of these ghoulies right
Exactly.
here, man. Yeah, that
See,
and I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say you could say the same thing about Child's Play. Basically, it's like
Mm.
every follow-up movie just did its own thing. And you know what? I'm not a big fan of Child's Play, but you know what? I appreciate what it's done because it
Mhm.
took a silly premise and went to town with it and just said, you know what? Fuck it, we're just gonna have fun with it. You know, because like a lot of movies, the original is great. The sequels are usually just to cash in, but in that sense, they cashed in with good ideas. And from what I
Yeah.
understand, the TV series is actually pretty fun.
It is. And I know we're not on like sequels, but and this might not be a hot take anymore, but like because I know like a lot of people are like now it's Child's Play 2 better than the original, which I think valid. I did get to see the original like back on the big screen at Alamo Draft House. That was fun as hell with a crowd. Um Now, Carlos and Gary, do y'all have draft houses in your neck of the woods?
I live in a city with an actual Alamo. Yes, we do. We have two Alamo draft houses because I am in San Antonio.
Oh, right. You see the OG one then, right? Like
Yes.
the
Well, Austin is where the OG ones is.
oh,
But we have two. They closed the one down near my house, but they opened up one called a Flicks Brew House, which is for all intents and purposes, it's an Alamo draft house in all but name, but they make their own beer, so that's pretty cool.
ooh, nice.
One in Chicago. Never been. I'm in Northwest Indiana, which is about a half an hour out of the city. So one of these days I may visit it. I've visited other movie houses in Chicago, some of the more older ones. Um, Music Box is a pretty big one around here. That's
Oh, nice.
like 100 years old. It still has the organ that comes out of the floor for
Oh wow,
the
Ooh,
non-talkies. That's always fun to watch with
that's
the live organ.
that is
that would
very
be
fun.
cool.
I'm actually pretty jealous of that. Like, so they did during Halloween they did oh my gosh, Dr. Caligari with a live score. They had like a band to do that, and
Wow.
yeah, it was really fucking cool. They also did Nosferatu, and I unfortunately I didn't get tickets to that one, but they were selling DVDs of like their performance of that. So like
Cool.
I'll look and see who it is, and I'll plug them on the description if y'all want to check it out.
Now,
Um,
I've also been to the Texas Theater, which is in Dallas. That's where they caught Oswald,
oh
and
yeah, huh?
and I've seen Sleepaway Camp there with Felissa Rose, and then I watched one of the oh, you know what? Strangely enough, what was that movie I watched? It was the second Reanimator movie. And it's funny because in that one, or not that one, the other movie they showed, which was Society, they made reference to JFK. And I'm sitting here thinking, holy shit, I'm in a theater where they
Wow,
caught the jackass who killed him, and they're making a reference to the JFK assassination.
that's
I
fucking
mean,
wild. I
how
love it.
is that mind
Yeah.
blowing?
I also want to just give like a shout out to Society. That movie is fucking amazing. Gary, do you know that one? You a fan of that one?
Oh, I love what it does. I can't say I'm a massive fan of it
Mm.
because it's just that kind of, oh, have you seen the third act of Society? Because I enjoy the whole thing, but if you're
Yeah,
gonna show somebody something, show somebody the third act of Society with
yeah,
all the KY jelly and the heads coming out of the
yeah.
asses and
I mean, listen, that's just a regular night for Michael. So I know he's not here, so can't defend himself. But anyways, it's all good. I guess we'll probably wrap. Does anyone have any like hot takes that they didn't get out. Can be from any sort of any like topics, or felt like we're like
I'm
I'd
pretty
say,
good.
but I'd say one more like movie that people enjoy that I think is just okay and is I'd say Get Out is up there with me
hmm,
because
okay.
I'm with Jordan Peele. If I didn't put the stuff in there, just stop looking for it, and it pretty much lays out what it does. And people say, "Oh, I saw new things watching this movie." Well, you obviously were watching it very well because it kind of lays out every plan, every plot device, everything that's happening in the movie. It's not that I would enjoy it. I have a really hot take for Catherine Keener and anything that she's in. If you know what I'm saying,
Hmm.
it's just I see the appeal, but I don't see the hype. You
Hmm.
know, if that means anything. You know,
Yeah.
Hmm.
that's
Um,
about it really though.
yeah. I would say, like, just kind of building off that a little bit, I would say, like, Us, I think, is flawed, but I still fucking love it because I love how fucking weird and ambitious it is, even though it kind of is a train wreck. Um, so I'll wrap with that one. But my gosh, I had such a great time with y'all. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk and share some scorching hot takes, even though, according to Michael, we didn't really even hit the temperature, but I think we did. But weigh in the comments. Let me know what y'all think of our hot takes. What are some of your own? And please, we'll start with you, Carlos. Where can people find you and anything you want to plug?
Basically, you can find me on Instagram, Carlos in SA or Lowspan94. I'm out there.
And Gary, where can people find you? And if there's anything you want to plug, let me.
Of course, legionpodcast.com where my home for my podcasts are. Cinema Beef Podcast. Been doing it for about a decade now. Two drink minimum commentaries, just friends getting together, not knowledgeable about movies, but just like watching movies and
Yes.
riffing on movies, just having a good time. It's better with alcohol, people. Um,
Yes.
Yeah.
Big
uh,
runner. Me and the boys love doing this. We decided to cover all of Walter Hill's filmography. You know, no
ooh.
relation, but if you look at the first 10 Walter Hill films, I think are bona fide classics.
Yeah.
I just got the beautiful Vinegar Syndrome Southern Comfort 4K Blu-ray. I
Ooh, I
can't wait.
want that.
Wow.
I can't wait to dive into that thing. It's so hard, and
I need to buy a 4K TV just so I can appreciate that.
geez, Louise, the
Yeah.
packaging is gorgeous. Um,
Is that
besides
sold?
that,
Is that
was
sold
it?
out yet? What do you know? Sorry, didn't mean to
I
interrupt.
don't think so. I don't think so. As of this recording, I don't think so.
Okay.
But it costs like $50, but the presentation,
Worth
you know, of the
it.
packaging is, my God, I just to hold it in my hand is like, it's like when I found that they were putting out Cloak and Dagger, and I was like, I gotta have this, you know.
They filmed that in San Antonio.
Oh gosh, had to have it, man.
Yep.
There's so many
Yep.
releases of those like you gotta have, and you
Nice.
know, you get them, and you're like, wow, this is like a dream. I'm holding this 4K copy of Daryl in my hand with this beautiful magnetic snap case with art on it and stuff, you
Yes.
know, and why do I need this? Because I saw it when I was 9
Yeah.
Yep.
and I had to have it, you know. Which I think most movie nostalgia, you know, sticks out there and says, I saw this on the shelf when I was, you know, 10, you know, but now it's the internet. Now, the internet, people thought, oh, the internet's so bad. It's nothing but hate speech. No, I go to film groups and I say, you know, this is old, but it's new to me. And then people point shit out to me that I would never dream to have watched.
Yeah.
You know, it just and then it's awesome. You know, and it's where have you been all my life? Miami Connection. You know, one of the prime examples of that. You know, and
Yes.
so
That's a good one.
silly. I love PM Entertainment garbage, all of it. You know, and superior to canon in my opinion because they just went for the sleaze.
Yeah.
Again, more conversation for another time. But yeah, those things. Instagram, Beefy Beard 22, if you want to go look for that. Um, and support the Legion Patreon. It's $2 a month, and you get all the Last Call Torchies bonus episodes there. So plus
Nice.
other early releases.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And I will also include all that information in the description. Please support these guys. They are awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And we'll pour one out later for Michael. But we also enjoyed having him. Even his
Indeed.
even his freeze rants were still very mighty. And hopefully
They were like perfect poses too. Like I'm
they
gonna say
were.
something large, you know.
Ah, yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, the rants are probably great, but that was almost kind of too perfect. But we're gonna try to have him one again. Because like I said, I'm a fan of all y'all, and this was so cool having you on and really appreciate it. And like I said, I will include all that information that they gave you in the description as well. And thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see y'all in the next video.
All right.